I have a couple more questions I've got to ask. This is the biggest question. I've been listening to you for years, and you've danced around this topic, and I've just decided I'm going to nail you on this. I've got to know.
Well, we've answered it thousands of times, but until you get in the vortex, you can't hear the answer. And you really should stop nailing people.
Well, talking about Jesus. Touche. Okay, Annika, stop. My dear friend. The question I have, and it is my resistance, I'm fully aware of that, and I struggle, and I love what you say.
Well, now, keep beating the drum. I haven't been able to hear. I've never been able to hear. I probably will not ever hear. I've listened and listened and listened. Maybe you want to do a little different preface to this. I'm sitting here in the vortex of source energy. I've been listening. I can feel myself into the vortex. I'm resonating with the fullness of who I am. I feel great clarity. As I sit out there, I can hear the things that you say. I think this is an environment where I can maybe take this thought beyond where it has been before. Maybe it's been there for me and I've just missed it, but today I'd like to highlight it in a way that it asks the question in a very poignant way so that I and others may hear it in a new way, and then I want to relax and hear the answer to it.
I like that.
Much better setup.
Much better. Took the words right out of my mouth. Thank you. Okay, it's the big K, the big karma. I have listened to many recordings.
What's big about that?
It's the unknown. It's the idea of a lot of different philosophies and religions, and I love what I hear, and it resonates. And you have said there is karma, but you can't go into it.
Oh, we've gone into it many times. We just go into it more quickly than you do, and we never give you the answer you want to hear, so you don't think you've heard the answer. But here we have some questions for you, just to set this up as a platform, so that you can hear what's going to come next.
Sure.
So, do you acknowledge that you are here in this physical body?
Yes.
That was easy. And do you acknowledge that here in this physical body, you are an extension of non-physical energy?
Yes.
And do you agree that while you're here in this physical body, in all this realness, that the larger part of you still remains non-physically focused?
Yes.
And do you acknowledge that the emotions you feel are the barometer of the way those two vibrational aspects are playing off of one another? Yes. Do you agree, or do you acknowledge, or does it sort of feel right to you, that when you feel negative emotion about something, that it means you're thinking about it in a way that the source within you is not thinking about it?
Absolutely.
In other words, you can tell that you have strayed from your true knowing.
Yes.
And the reason that you feel negative emotion then is because, as we said earlier, your inner being is not crawling out of the vortex to be with you. Your inner being is holding firm to who you have become and coaxing you into the vortex. And if there's going to be any alignment, you got to come in there and make the alignment. So, if your inner being will not join you in even one negative thought, what do you think the odds are that you'd been sent back into a lifetime to fix something that you screwed up last time? That was big. So, what makes people assume that there's something karmic that they're compensating for? Well, it's easy to understand how they'd get there. They innately believe that they are good. They want to be good. They know that they want stuff that they can't get. And they're outside the vortex trying to make it happen, through words and action, not lining up with the energy that will allow it to happen, but struggling really hard to make it happen. And finally, they just get weary and they say, oh, don't tell me that I create my own reality. I don't want to hear that, because I've wanted that for a long, long time. Don't tell me that when I ask it is given. If that's true, then where's my stuff? I've been asking. I don't think it's been being given. And then to explain why, when they innately know that it should be going better for them and it isn't, then they come up with all of the screwiest explanations about why things aren't going better. It's my mother's fault. It's the government's fault. It's my husband's fault. It's my wife's fault. It's my child's fault. It's the fault of karma. I must have done something screwy in a past life, and now I'm coming back to do it again, you see. And so that's the reason that we don't talk about karma in the way that most people mean it. There is nothing in anything that we know that even remotely resembles what most people mean when they talk about karma. Now, are you an eternal being? Yes. So that's kind of karmic. Okay. Are you source energy at the same time that you're here? Yes. So that's sort of karmic. Do you come back and have other experiences? Yes. But every time, see, here's how it works. So here you are in this physical body, knowing what you do want, knowing what you don't want, asking for more. And we've been talking all day here today about closing the gap. Hopefully while you're here in this physical body, but some don't. Some just get more and more of a spread between who they're letting themselves be and who they are. And then they have their closing of the gap during that releasing into the non-physical, what you call the death experience. But once reemerged back into non-physical, they now stand as the culmination of all that life has caused them to be. All that they were before they were in this body and all that they've been since. You are an expanding being, an expanding consciousness, an expanding energy. Yes, yes, yes. And when you make your decision to come back again, and you will, because it's great fun. This is the leading edge. This is where it's at. This is where the expansion begins and ends, if you will allow it. You come from this framework of who you are. You, in this time-space reality, are putting all kinds of things into this vortex of creation that future generations will benefit from. But it doesn't need to only be future generations. You all could get into the vortex now if you would use the power of your mind to get in there, and you could benefit from it right here and now. But if you don't, it doesn't matter, because who you really are has become that, and when you reemerge into physical again, you will come from that vantage point. Haven't you noticed that about the children that are coming forth? Don't they just know stuff? Don't they know stuff? Esther visits with her grandchildren, and she can hardly believe that they know stuff she just learned from Abraham. I just learned that, and you were born knowing that? You see.
I'm a youth minister. So I experience that every week.
So is that helpful? In other words, if you want to call it karma, it doesn't matter what there is this eternal wheel of life that is spinning, and you will never be finished with your expansion, with your joyful expansion. But it is our promise to you that you are not sent here to fix things that are broken. You're never come forth to compensate for things that you did in an inappropriate way before. You come forth as genius, consciousness, wanting vividly to explore contrast and put thought in new places and come into alignment with it.
That's wonderful.
Yes, indeed.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Very good.